Father God, we thank you and we give your name praise and we give your name honor. We come to you as humble as we know how, asking God that you will order our steps concerning the county, concerning those that have authority over us, and we ask that you give us the wisdom that we need. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, the roll call, please.
This is a regular meeting of the Camden County Board of County Commissioners being held on Tuesday, January 9, 2018 at 5 p.m. in the City Commission Chambers in Fullerton, Florida. In attendance are Chairman Mitchell Wills, Vice Chair Emma Bird, Commissioner Darrell Harris, Commissioner Michael Swindle, County Administrator Charles Chapman, County Attorney Mark Lapp, and Clerk Barbara Butler.
Commissioner Turner is unable to be here tonight. He's actually in Tallahassee working for us, so he'll be back at the next meeting with us. So we're going to get started here. First thing we see under bids.
Honorable Chairperson and members of the board, this item before you request to toss out all bids. The review committee, after a thorough review process, evaluating, determined that there were too many variables to have fair and equivalent scoring based on the scope of work and the submissions turned in by the interested parties. Therefore, the direction of that evaluation committee was to continue using our procurement ordinance to secure fleet vehicle maintenance services. So we are asking the board to reject all bids.
I move option 1.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Swindle, second by Commissioner Byrd. Is there any further discussion? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Takes us to the consent agenda. Do we have anything we needed to pull there? We're good?
I move to approve consent agenda.
Second. Got a motion, Commissioner Swindle, to approve the agenda, second by Mr. Harris. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. It's going to take us to awards and appearances. Is Ms. McKinnon with us tonight? Yes, she is. An update on the Crossroads Behavioral Center. If you would, please, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please come to the mic.
Thank you for the opportunity to come and see you today and speak to you. My name is Linda McKinnon. I'm the CEO of Central Florida Behavioral Health Network. We are one of 7 managing entities in the state of Florida that was established by the legislature to contract for and manage services for indigent mental health and substance abuse in our local communities. The managing entities are required to assure that the maximum amount of taxpayer funds for both state, federal, and county resources are spent on direct services. Laws require that all services and payments be substantiated by client-level data that goes through our system up to the state. We're also required by law to meet all federal and state standards for the use of the funds. In other words, people can't have another funding source, they can't be covered by Medicaid, they have to also meet target population standards, and those things include things like serious persistent mental illness, people with opioid addictions, postpartum and pregnant women, and some other populations, parents putting children at risk. Central Florida manages services throughout 14 counties in the Suncoast region and Circuit 10, this being one of our counties, and the managing entities cannot be direct service providers. We have over 80 providers in our network and serve over 100,000 people a year. The contract with DCF requires that we assure services throughout all of our communities. In December 2014, Henry Blades Mental Health Center notified Central Florida that they would be ceasing to provide services within 30 days. At that time, we obtained agreement with the state to allow us to directly contract with clinicians to provide interim services, and we also contracted with a telehealth provider to assure the availability of psychiatric services in this community. The approach actually worked well. Services continued to be provided and actually cost less than running a traditional clinic. During the 6 months that followed, Central Florida sought a provider for the clinic. Crossroads stepped up and we contracted approximately $723,000 for 2015-2016 year. As this was a brand-new provider with no state contract experience, we worked in partnership with the state to allow Crossroads to provide services without having to verify them or put data into our system. This was allowed for the first year of the contract, but could not be continued beyond that year. In 2016, Central Florida contracted approximately $901,000 with Crossroads. The contract, we allowed 50% availability, just paying for staff time, and 50% of the payment would have to be substantiated with client-specific data. Crossroads lapsed about $123,000 that year. Beginning in 2017, many issues began arising that caused billing concerns for Crossroads. They were serving folks that were not allowable under the DCF contract for us to pay for. We provided about 4 to 6 technical assistance visits at the time. Crossroads was put under corrective action and given a time-limited contract. This technical assistance included documenting how to document financial eligibility, bill appropriate insurance companies, get on Medicaid provider panels, pursue Medicare contracts, implement basic accounting software, have a financial audit completed, collect required co-payments, and assure that the indigent drug funds were being spent accurately. We also looked at an issue of timely payment to vendors and the documentation requirements required for treatment planning and other clinical services. Crossroads was able to implement a majority of the necessary requirements that were needed, and CFPHN extended the contract through this year. Crossroads' contract for this year is about $675,000, which is the maximum amount that they can utilize with providing clinical services. And in an attempt to support this small clinic, we increased the rates for this service to greater than the amount supported by the budget. All of this had to be approved by the state. Crossroads continues to have some issues pulling the funding in a manner required, and some issues with putting in client-specific data into the system. But they've indicated recently that the systems they now have in place should allow them to succeed this coming year. There have also been a number of discussions regarding the cost of physician services and potential ways to increase doctor productivity and or reduce the costs. Crossroads has also negotiated a no-cost lease and established procedures to monitor indigent drug expenses. We've also suggested that they review the number of days that they're open in the two communities, as we do not require them to be open 5 days a week. We continue to try to provide and do provide support to Crossroads when necessary. Although progress has been made, there are ongoing concerns that have to be addressed in order to be in compliance with the DCF and CFPHN contract requirements. Because our duty is to our communities rather than our providers and the person served, we have to be positioned to assure that ongoing services are in place and available should something happen with Crossroads and they not be able to succeed. So while CFPHN is working diligently with Crossroads to help them continue to be a viable service provider, we are working with other providers should that not occur, so that we can assure that your communities continue to have mental health and substance abuse coverage. I brought with me our experts who have been to the clinic and met with them many times should you have specific questions, and we'd be happy to answer them if we can.
Chair, how many days a week or a month are you in Henry County?
Myself personally?
No, for services.
Services right now in Henry County are provided 5 days a week.
5 days a week?
5 days a week of each month.
Okay.
So not just 5 days each month, but 5 days a week, every week.
Oh, okay.
Did
And do you have any idea how many clients you have?
That's something that Crossroads is still getting to us. The last I knew of DCF clients was around.
If you're going to speak, could you come up, please, and give us your name, and so we can get this on record?
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Thank you.
That's been one of our issues, is getting that kind of client-specific information from Crossroads. As I said, they're getting better with it.
Sorry, Jennifer Seaton, also Central Florida Behavioral Health Network. I'm the finance director there. The last I'm aware of, the Crossroads has around 40 clients that are DCF related or our contract. I I believe they have other clients related to Medicare and Medicaid that we were working with them to get on those boards.
Okay. They have, like a sign-in sheet or something?
They do, yes.
Okay. And y'all meet at, off Cowboy Way?
We have, yes.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions?
No, she answered it when she just made the statement.
Are you allowed to have more than one provider?
We are,
So you can, so within Hendry Glades, you could have Crossroads and other said provider?
correct.
But at the current, you do not?
We do not. When Henry Glades Mental Health Center closed, we reached out to try to find a provider, and as you know, living in a rural community, that's rather difficult to find providers. They have to be nonprofits. There are several rules. So we were able to obtain with the department the agreement to contract with the individual clinicians for a short period of time, but then after that it had to be a provider that met all of the standards required by the Department of Children and Families and the legislature.
Yeah, okay. Well, and number one, I appreciate what y'all do. And I work closely with school districts also, and I can tell you, and you made a great comment that you said your duty is to the community, right? And so is ours, and so we absolutely agree on that. But I'm going to tell you, it's an epidemic, y'all know, and everyone knows, and we feel like we have our fair share and probably then some of it, and we could definitely appreciate all the help we could get if there's a way we could continue reaching out, because I know even in the school district, you can't find them. You can't find those providers. You can't find folks that want to come to the rural areas. And so I don't know what the right approach is. I know the telemed is an option, probably not the best option, but sometimes the only option. But,
Yes, and we are really looking at telemed as an adjunct to our service array. I know one of the issues that's come up is that there are a lot of areas in the community that there's no connectivity. And so that's a problem with being able to provide in-home services throughout all over. It requires sort of a spoken hub, so you still have to have a clinic, so to speak. But we are building that. We do have providers now that work in other more rural areas that are interested and have been speaking to us about coming in and helping. I know a very big issue is the opioid epidemic, and I know that we do not have a said provider here who is able to address that, so people end up having to really travel. That is a big issue that we continue to work on.
yeah, then let's please continue to work on it. If there's a way this board can help you, we absolutely need that. There's a glaring need and a glaring demand here. Our school systems is another huge issue to where they need all the help they can get. There's little to no help that we can reach out and even obtain. So if there's a way we can do that.
Crossroads still in the school?
They are, yes.
They
Yeah.
are.
And they are, but I think again they struggle
It's
with getting
limited.
they struggle with getting doctors that can and will come and travel the distance, and so it's a challenge for everyone.
Yeah.
But and that's why I just I implore you to please let's explore every avenue. If we can look at other providers or bring more than one in, and just to do everything we can to bring the help of these
And
communities.
we are really trying to do that. We did just recently contract with another provider, not specifically for this community, but they have indicated that they can come in and assist and provide in-home services if we need to do that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you working with Mr. Finer and everyone at Crossroads. They're the game in town, and that's all we have. And so, although they're not perfect, I appreciate y'all working with them and helping bring them into compliance and everything that we can do to make sure that they are solid.
Yeah, state contracts are very, very difficult, as I'm sure you know. They require a whole lot more documentation and those kind of requirements than the Medicaid contracts, which is very difficult for smaller providers to meet. And so we try to work with them where we can, but there's certain times when we have to say, that you've got to be able to enter data into our system. You've got to be able to document the people that you're seeing and the services that they're getting and those kind of things.
Thank you.
Just to echo what Commissioner Swindle said, as a board, the constituents are one thing, but they're people we're talking about.
They are.
And that's what we really need to focus on. We appreciate everything you do. And as he said, if there's any way that, if we can partner together, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. If we can partner together to try to make these things better for our communities, I believe that's, for our future, is going to be a major plus. So thank you very much, Ms. McKinnon. We appreciate you coming tonight.
Thank you, and we would love to work with you. And if you know of any resources in this community that you think we could reach out to, we would really like to know that.
Have there been anyone in the past that worked with Crossroad in the past? Have there been another provider?
No.
No.
Henry Glades Mental Health Center was here for many, many years.
Yes.
And financially, they could not make it, which is what brought in Crossroads. Crossroads was a provider in Lee County at the time, a small private provider. They did Medicaid work, and at the time, 3 years ago, they were the only ones that were willing to try to take this on, and so we really appreciate that, and we continue to try to assist them, but we know that it's very risky, so that we have to have backup.
And it's scary because, even now in the school system, it's a regular thing. It's not, it's a, how you say, life happens now, and life is happening in our community, so it's very much needed. It'll be wonderful if you all can continue to reach out for providers for us. We do appreciate it.
We will, thank you, and if you'd like, we can come and give you, regular updates a couple of times a year, or meet with you individually to let you know and sort of get some of your wisdom as well.
Well, I appreciate y'all being here and sharing what you have. So every chance you could, that'd be great, or annually or biannually, whatever works.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you. All right, moving along to public hearings. First one is petition number SC 17-0002, South Florida Water Management. Ms. Meyer, are you presenting that? Okay.
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners. For the record, Myra Johnson, Henry County Planning and Zoning Coordinator. The first public hearing we have before you tonight is a special exception request from South Florida Water Management District for a 320-foot microwave tower. The tower will be 300 feet with an additional 20 feet for antennas. The tower is a part of an overall communications network for South Florida Water Management facilities. The county requires that we send notice out to property owners that are within 750 feet of this project. However, due to the location of the project, staff expanded the noticing area to 1,500 feet and included property owners in Double J Acres and Wheeler Road area. Staff did receive some inquiries on the project. The questions were along the lines of, is this a cellular tower? Are they going to be getting money for renting out the facility for the tower? It's not. There was nobody that objected to the project. If approved, the special exception is subject to the following conditions. 1, the microwave tower and appurtenance shall have a maximum height of 320 feet. All applicable permits from governmental agencies must be obtained prior to construction. The tower must be constructed in a manner to provide that the fall zone is located completely on the property in which it is constructed. The applicant shall file a FAA Form 7460-1 due to the proposed tower exceeding the 200 feet in height. A site improvement plan approval is required prior to construction of the tower. I believe a representative for the applicant is available if you have any questions.
I don't have any.
The board, this being a public hearing, is there anyone in the public would like to speak at this time?
I move to accept petition SE 17-0002.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Harris, seconded by Commissioner Swindle. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moves us to petition number RZ 17-0009.
Again, this public hearing is a zone request to amend existing planned unit development. The previously approved PUD was for municipal services and was approved in 1987. Ms. Thompson is leasing the building on site for a second location for her local daycare business. Daycares are permitted in any zoning district with a special exception. However, as this is a PUD, PUDs do not allow for special exceptions, so a PUD amendment was required. The daycare facility will be open from 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and parents will be required to park in order to drop off and pick up children. The Health Department reviewed the application and submitted the following comment. The septic system will accommodate a daycare occupancy of 57 children/workers, at which no food is prepared on site. Children and workers must bring their food to the facility. Staff sent out the required notice and received one call on the project as an inquiry on the request, but did not receive anybody voicing an objection to the project. If approved, the PUD amendment is subject to the following conditions. The PUD amendment is approved to add daycare as a permitted use. Number 2, occupancy of the daycare shall not exceed a combined 57 children/workers. Number 3, the applicant shall not expand the existing kitchenette to a full-size kitchen facility or on-site preparation of food unless any required local permits are approved. Number 4, the applicant should process a change of use permit with the Henry County Building Department. Number 5, the building must be improved to meet ADA requirements. And number 6, the required site improvement plan application is waived. The applicant's representative is here if anybody has any questions.
Anyone have any questions?
I have a question, and it's more of a comment. Did I hear you say that they're going to be required to park to get the kids out of the car?
Yes.
Like you can't throw them out the window as you drive by? Or?
No. This is not like, well, it's not like the middle school or the high school or the elementary school where they have the cul-de-sac
Drop off. Right.
So,
Shove them out.
well, you know, that's
right.
if you're your
I was just
children,
wondering.
that's your
I just wondering why you had to add that.
Ms. Thompson already has a daycare in town, so this will be her second one.
This is also a meeting of the public. Does anyone in the public like to address this?
I move to accept the request from the applicant.
I second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Harris,
Second.
second by Mrs. Byrd. Thought I heard you, I wasn't sure. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Talk a little louder for me. Okay, under correspondence proclamation from ALP Incorporated. Oh, sorry, I missed one. Oh, Amendment C, I did.
Yes, he missed it.
Yes, sir, please.
This item is an amendment to our local state of emergency ordinance as a result of the experience gained through Irma, and then before that, the experience with, I think it was Matthew in 2016. We realized some needs to update that ordinance. The first significant one is the administrator spending authority. Currently, it says 50,000 is the cap without any exception. Otherwise, that's for the board. And so this would eliminate the hard and fast cap if he needs to spend the money in order to prevent imminent harm to public safety or county property, and if it cannot be delayed until the next regular county commission meeting. You know, if there's like a repair that has to be done and it's going to cost, they can cost more than $50,000. The roof that we had to do for the health department was $75,000 and change or so. So that's an example. So that's one change. The ordinance was kind of redundant in addressing the restrictions on use of fresh water and on price gouging. We already had other sections of the ordinance that addressed that. It kind of was redundant, so we cleaned up that redundancy. And then we had a situation with Matthew where there was a lot of debris on private property, and the neighbors were concerned about it being airborne. It was really a mess of a piece of property, and so code enforcement went out there and picked it up and stored it. And this clearly provides authority for that to occur. If we need to do that, we can go on private property and do that. So those are the main changes. There's some other cleanup, various things that were done, but this is presented for your approval.
I recommend that we accept it.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Byrd, second by Commissioner Harris. Any further discussion? This is a public hearing. Is anyone in the public that wish to address this? Seeing none. Any further discussion from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That's going to take us to our Agricultural Labor Program Incorporated, celebrating their 50th annual corporate luncheon.
And for clarification for the board, this is a request that ALP presents to us every single year. We do some sort of letter welcoming their board. This is well within the historical tradition of the board to send them a welcome greetings letter. This just happens to be a unique year celebrating their 50th anniversary.
You don't need any action.
Would like approval for the chair to execute the letter in support.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Swindle. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I believe that's going to take us to staff reports.
Yes, sir. Honorable Chairperson and members of the board, the first staff report under this item this evening is an update on the grant application to Enterprise Florida for U.S. Customs and Border Patrol user fee facility at Everglades Airport. There's a fairly extensive agenda report that was provided to you with all the background documentation that we have today to get you to a comfort level for taking action tonight. Just to cut right to the chase, we are in active negotiations with the Department of Economic Opportunity and Enterprise Florida in terms of the scope of work for this potential grant agreement, subject to EFI approval and also ultimately subject to Governor Rick Scott's approval for the authorization of the funds under the new job growth grant funding available through the Department of Economic Opportunity. The potential grant award will be $1.5 million for the retrofitting of the current existing general aviation terminal at Everglades Airport into the Customs and Border Patrol facility. Some comments have already come in that we need to make sure that we can accommodate the general aviation community with at least a restroom facility, a terminal to update their flight plans, and a little bit of a hospitality suite. Not a large space, but just a small space for them to come in case they need to make amendments to their flight plans. We will contemplate that within the scope of actually developing the signed and sealed construction plans as we move forward as required by the scope of work in coordination with DEO and EFI. I do apologize for the alphabet soup. We're dealing with a lot of agencies. In short, what I'm looking for the board this evening is an approval of the grant agreement subject to county attorney review and to authorize the chairperson to execute the agreement. Bottom line is that DEO wants to make this happen quickly. We received notice of the potential grant award on December 15th. They have given us until January 15th to execute the grant agreement. That being said, we're on a tight timeline. We don't want to necessarily turn away this money if we can come to terms, so we're asking the board to go ahead and give us the go-ahead to execute this agreement pending county attorney approval.
I move option 1.
I second it.
Motion by Commissioner Swindle, second by Commissioner Byrd.
And just to be clear, when he says execute the grant agreement, you have a draft in the book, but it's undergoing some revisions.
Right.
It would be as revised.
As revised. Yep.
Yeah, according to your,
Yep.
yeah.
Charles, all the additions that you mentioned, is that part of the grant?
Yes, there was several provisions within the original draft agreement that it is in your book that things like disclosures of every grant award that we've gotten since the beginning of time. That was a little bit ridiculous. Most of these grants normally go towards private entities when it goes through EFI or DEO. That's why that particular provision was in place. For us to come up with a list of every grant that that we've received since the beginning of the inception of Hendry County would be impossible. So those type of provisions are what we're trying to remove. They're nonsense. There's some other provisions within the grant that are clawback provisions. Should we have misuse of funds in any shape, form, or fashion, that would require us to pay those funds back to EFI. That's standard boilerplate language. But we're trying to minimize our exposure considering that they were originally drafted for private entities, and there was one bad actor that had some notoriety in the newspaper about a year or two ago with a very similar program that had some particular sticky clawback provisions within the agreement that we're trying to get away from. Further within the agreement is that since this airport should be changing hands, and we hope will change hands very soon into private holdings with AIA, we want to make sure that we're dealing with an open-faced hand to EFI to say this is going to change over, this still serves a public purpose, but just be aware that it will be shifting as an asset from the county to a private entity. And so we're implementing some language to make sure we have protections and that the liabilities for the deliverables do shift along with the property and the asset to the private entity and not be left in the hands of the county.
What about the design work? Do you have input on that?
Yes, we
Okay.
will have design as long as it's within our control.
Okay.
Any more questions? We had a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
Number 2 there. Mr. Parker?
Chairman, for the record, James Parker, Henry County Public Works Director. I come before you again with transportation priorities for Henry County. I have a list before you of capital improvement highway capacity projects. These are the same as you had last year for State Road 29. Any questions on those two items?
then on 29, so, are they through with public hearings? On 29, we've had two, because, we was talking about those intersections and stuff before the hurricane, then it got lost in the hurricane.
It's still lost in the hurricane right now. I haven't heard anything
Well,
since those meetings.
Senator Pasadena was supposed to meet us in town, so we need to bring that back to light again,
Okay,
because it's that one strip of road.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know all about it. So anyway, we need to bring that back to, because they were ready to meet with everybody and
Right,
go over all this, and the storm came, and that was the end of it.
yes, sir.
So we'll bring that back up.
Are you okay with seeking funding for construction for that segment?
Yes,
Okay. And then the next
but,
one is the,
but then they're gonna come back to this board though, right? Eventually?
I'll find out what you know.
Okay.
We still have concerns in that area, like Commissioner Harris was saying.
They haven't moved any further on the design. Nothing's happened since that last meeting.
And I think that was like 2 years out, wasn't it? Could have been.
No, they didn't say how far the design was out. They don't even have they don't have none of the design, design's funded. They don't know what they're gonna do yet since that meeting. And they're at 60% plans. They still have to do 90 and 100. And then also we have to fund the
But
construction.
what we're talking about, it'd be easy to change.
Right.
So anyway, we'll talk to you about that later.
Okay. So are you good with those two priorities?
Yeah.
Okay. County Incentive Grant Program, as you're aware, we're constructing Helms Road. When that opens, we anticipate there's going to be a need for improvements at South Forey Drive and Helms Road, and asking for funds to come up with a design for those intersection improvements. And that's the same as last year, on the Small County Outreach Program. I have 7 items. I think they were originally about 4. I shortened, I broke the road segments up into smaller pieces to be able to effectively obtain funding from DOT. And so they remain the same, sections of 835, sections of 78, as presented. Is there any questions on those? All right, Small County Road Assistance Program, these are the same 3 as last year. We had one more from last year which got funded, that was Fortin Oak Road from Fortin Oak Bridgeway back to 80 to Western Lake. I'm asking to approve these 3 for submittal. Any question on those? All right, then Transportation Alternative Sidewalk Project, we have 2, one from last year, Northeast Braintree, and then also a sidewalk replacement project for Davidson Road from 835 to Industrial Canal. I have other sidewalks I'd like to add, but I can't add them due to the time frame of the submittal requirements for DOT. We'll have to do a more detailed analysis, cost estimate for DOT, we just don't have the time frame.
Can you amend them later?
These applications are due on the 19th.
Oh, okay.
So,
So later into the scope of the project, do you have the ability to?
no, they want to
That's
know
it.
how much money you're gonna ask
Oh,
for.
okay.
And they ask for pictures and
Oh,
cross-sections.
okay. You don't have time for the details, what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
It takes a certain amount of time. So for the next priority, we'll be able to ask for sidewalk projects. I know some commissioners expressed concern for sidewalks near Davis Pratt. There's a need for some on Nobles Road by the Handy where there's a definite cow path per se. And, but we're gonna need to do some more due diligence to come up with a good cost estimate to ask DOT for.
So how soon will this be put out? Because, I remember a year ago, we talked about some sidewalks on Carolina, different
Yes, ma'am.
areas. So how long will it be for that to take place?
Well, this will go to DOT and, we'll go to Heartland TPO. They'll transmit it to DOT. The sidewalk section will be ranked by the Heartland in comparison to other counties. And then, that'll all get transmitted to DOT at the end. DOT will look and see what they can, if there's available funding, put it in a 5-year work program. We'll get it later this year, a draft version, and it'll be adopted. The Carolina sidewalks are already in the 5-year work program. I want to say they're about 2 years out, maybe 3, but they're coming. These sidewalks more likely will be added in the 5th year.
Is Harlem Academy on there also?
No, no ma'am. It's Carolina, and, I want to say it might be Bella Device.
Anyway, Emma, it takes forever.
I heard them say 5 years, but we're 2 years out, okay?
No, don't.
And
Real
the
quick
people
on
don't- The people don't understand that it's a process,
Yeah.
and it takes long, even though they ask for it. It's
Takes
a
a long-
process, so it takes a period of time. I just found out it takes 5 years, okay?
While we're on the sidewalks, real quick, the repair of sidewalks, the ones you have in place now, what's the process we need to work on with that? There's some of the asphalt walkways you put in Port LaBelle where the trees have grown through them, and it's a trip hazard. So just out of curiosity, do we have someone checking those, or?
We have someone periodically go by and check them. We've done we try to do a little bit of sidewalk repairs every year, roughly 30,000. We concentrated last year in Harlem. We had a bunch of cracked sidewalks. We just kind of did the whole neighborhood to finish it up, all the way back to down Georgia to W.C. Owens Avenue. We've got some sidewalk repairs that we have to do that are more of a tripping hazard along Cowboy Way near Pratt and stuff.
Yeah.
Will be our next focus, but we're slowly working across the county, just hitting the hot spots. But we do have someone check it out. And if you know a specific area that we may not be aware of.
No, I'll get with you. It's just an asphalt walkway is what it is. Not concrete, it's asphalt. So there is one area that's pretty bad.
Okay.
Is
I'll
it
get with you about
oak trees?
By the oak trees just past the bus barn out there. So,
We
Yeah.
can grind it down and then fill it back.
That's a
up.
lot of walkers out there.
yes, sir. So I'll get with you.
And Pratt's in bad shape.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
So, anything else on sidewalk? I'm just looking for authorization to submit priorities.
So move.
I'll second it.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Swindle. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Chairman, I have one other item, change order number 1. This is a walk-on item for miscellaneous paving at various locations in Henry County. I apologize for this being a walk-on, but we were hoping to bring this at the next board meeting in January. However, the contractor's finishing, we have the same contractors as City of LaBelle for paving. They're finishing up early, so we'd like to start Thursday, Lord willing, with paving. And we have 2 areas that were damaged with a hurricane that need to be repaved. And the City of LaBelle paved Shea Oaks Avenue, and there's a section that we have about 130 foot that we own. I'd like to go ahead and pave that and finish that whole stretch of road. And the change order's in the amount of $10,356.25.
So move.
I'll second that. Sir, with a quick question. I'm sorry, and you probably said it. Funding, how are you going to fund that?
Road and bridge gas tax.
Okay.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Swindle. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Brings us to Mr. Lapp.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, first item is the background screening ordinance that we have on the books. We realized some needs for some amendments to that ordinance, and at this point, we're asking for your permission to proceed with preparing those and scheduling a public hearing before you at a later time.
So move. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any further discussion?
Are you going to farm out the fingerprinting, or are you going to do it in-house, or what's your plan? It may be too far down the road. John, have you thought about that?
Our typical process is that we partner with the sheriff's office to be able to get the fingerprinting done for those positions that classify
Okay.
for fingerprinting.
Okay.
However, we'll look at all alternatives because we do have, periodically, there's some technical difficulties with the equipment we currently have, and so we do have some backup plans, backup systems in place in case that system goes down. What we have difficulty with is when we do summer camp background screening, because that's a level 2 security clearance, similar to what teachers or school workers go through. We do have to farm that out because it's a little bit more of a robust system, and the sheriff's office is not geared for that.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, is that something maybe Mr. Langford could help us with? He does the concealed weapons. So with that sort of background, if we had that situation, could he help us with that maybe?
It's something we'll explore, sir.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I do have one question for Charles. Who did it for the camp last year?
It was a entity, I believe, that was in partnership with the city of Lewiston out of Belgrade. It was a, I believe out of Belgrade.
We used to have to send ours to Fort Moon.
Yeah, it's a pain in the neck. And you can do them in-house is why I ask. I mean, you just have to obviously invest in equipment, and then there's cost
Well,
involved, but it's a
school
lot easier to
board-
be able to do it there.
Don't the school board still do it?
School, we do it on both sides of the county now.
Yeah.
So
And
we do
sheriff's
our level
department.
2s in-house.
Okay, I did not know that. So
Yeah.
maybe giving you guys a call.
They'd probably do them for nothing.
Yeah. Charge a deal here.
Mr. Lapp, you're still.
Yes, next item is the cemetery burial lot reservation resolution. Of course, you discussed this extensively last month, and you directed the preparation and execution of the resolution, but in the course of preparing it, I realized that the one you were repealing, or you wanted to repeal, the 2001 resolution, had a section in it about lot buybacks, and I assumed you'd want to keep that. That doesn't have anything to do with reservations. That's just allowing people to sell them back to us when they don't want their lot anymore, and that's a good thing for us because it gets us lots back in our inventory. So because that wasn't discussed, I need to bring this back to you to have you officially adopt what's written here, which is the same policy you adopted last month, plus keeping the lot buyback option.
I recommend that we keep the policy that we adopted and add in the addition buyback lots. That was already in the agenda.
I second the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Byrd, second by Commissioner Swindle. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
You
The next
happy?
item is ratification of the extension
See
of the local
here.
state of emergency. We have the 15th, 16th, 17th, and then last Friday, the 18th was the
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That's it. We got a couple add-ons here.
Just one now, I think.
We got the,
Thank you, sir. There's an endorsement of an insurance check for Mr. Zuniga. I believe Ms. Sabrina Gadsden is here. She's our Housing and Social Services Manager. They'll be happy to field any questions that you might have about this item. This is, in short, an insurance check that is requiring the endorsement from Hendry County because we're in second position as lien holder. The amount is $16,000 and some change. Ms. Gadsden, I yield the floor.
Good afternoon. My name is Sabrina Gadsden again. I'm here requesting an endorsement of an insurance check of Mr. Zuniga. He suffered some damage to his home during Hurricane Irma. And this check is to replace the funds he used out of pocket to fix his roof. He had some roof damage that caused some leakage in his home, so he had to go ahead and repair it before he actually received his insurance check.
I move option one.
Second.
motion by Commissioner Swindle, second by Commissioner Harris. Any further discussion? Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gadd.
Okay. Back to my agenda here. Put it on the side. Business by districts.
Hearing of the public, sir.
Hearing of the public. Do we have any of the hearing of the public?
Unless you have any comment cards or anything that would come to the podium.
I didn't get any cards, so I guess everybody didn't want to talk to us tonight. The hearing of the public. Anyone wish to address the board at this time? No? All right. Business by district.
Wait, there was one.
We got one? Come up to the podium if you would, please. I didn't see you, sorry.
He just walked in.
Hello, gentlemen. I'm sorry I was late. We had a little crisis at the center. And I just wanted to let you guys know, at least from Crossroads' standpoint, I know that Linda McKinnon, and I wanted to be here earlier so I could actually talk to her, but I just want you guys to know that I didn't hear all that was said, and I know that we did catch a few of the things because it was live and it worked on the way up on 80, driving very safely and listening, but we finally have gotten to a balance, and I know that it's been a learning curve for us as well, because as she said, there was nobody else that was willing to come on up. And we're learning their system, we're getting a little bit better at it, and the data is still a very difficult thing, but we're doing the best we can at it, and we just hope that, that we can continue in the community, and we just pretty much wanted to say that we love the community, and we're trying to integrate into the jails. The school, one of the things about the school system is there's not a lot of money that we can draw down in order to go into the school system unless it was an outreach worker, which I've been, trying to fight, but they want only those services that are going to be direct services to individuals to bring that money down. So it puts us in a tough spot, but we're just wanted to let you guys know that, because she was here, we just wanted to reiterate, we're here too. And we want to stay, and we appreciate the county and all the support we're getting.
Any comment?
Comments?
Pat?
Concerns?
I have a question.
Go ahead. No, I'll yield to you.
If that child is in the school system, if you can go outside the system though and still work with them, right?
Yeah.
If it's recommended through the school?
For instance, we had a student that was called from the school today. she's a victim of bullying, and she came down and she saw myself, actually. I was the only one that was available. I saw her and she saw our ARMP. And she wasn't Baker acted, and she went home with a smile on her face, and I think she felt like she was getting some support and some care. And so that's what I'm trying to create. I have an ARNP who's full-time, who I'm relying on Medicaid to pay, and also for DCF money to help support that. But I also have a PA in Clewiston twice a week at the health department. And so, we hear this stuff. Is that answering your question? Sorry.
Yes, it do. But if that student is on regular insurance, are you still able to help them?
Absolutely. Yes, they're on Medicaid, and we can bill for those services, and absolutely.
Any further questions?
Mr. Finer, and I wasn't sure how to take Ms. McKinnon in the comments she was bringing forward at the beginning. It didn't look like they were going to paint a very good picture of what you do, but I've worked with your organization, and you are here. You're the game in town, and I know that there's been some humanistic errors and things that have been challenging, but again, we serve our residents, and we serve our faces that we get to see every day, and so do they.
Yes.
And so we just need to work together to make that happen. I want you here. I want you to expand. We need to bring more services, deeper services, wider services to the community. Our jail system is in tremendous need to cut down that recidivism rate. There's folks in there that don't need to be in jail. They need mental help. And so, we really need that.
I am behind that.
And I know you are. And just like we posed the challenge, Ms. McKinnon, don't let this be a one-time conversation. If you need to come to this board and say, look, we need this and we need to do that, and we have to rely on you as the professional caregiver to bring us that.
Yes.
So I don't want you to think that we were thinking anything to the contrary.
There's just you get rumors, and all of a sudden somebody wants to come on up, and we're down 40% from the first year that they gave us, and we're still doing the same service because we want to pick up on the Medicaid and the Medicare. Medicare is hard to start billing and get psychiatric and all those things into place. We're finally getting them. And so we're seeing Medicare patients. We're seeing all of the citizens of Hendry County. And Central Florida, their mandate is as a safety net for those without insurance. But what I'm attempting to do is to have some semblance of a community mental health center in Hendry County, where someone can go and get case management services. They can come in at any time. They pay us for crisis and support, and we're available. But, I'm just trying to build on that and a little bit of flexibility on their side and a little more support. And I hate to say that publicly, but it really needs to be a flavor of we're behind you 100% because we all do better when someone is saying you're doing good. But when they're saying, oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, can't wait to call us if there's one little item, but not call us and say, is there anything we can do, anything we can help with?
Are you using a database or you have your own?
What's that?
Are you using a database?
We have to submit on an Excel spreadsheet to their database for all of their data. And we have Donna, who worked for Hendry Glades Behavioral Health, and she is incredible. She's wonderful at getting all that data in. So I'm going to listen to because I don't even know really what was said.
But she did say you all was getting better at putting in the information. They don't know all the clients that you have, but you are getting better at working at it. So everything's it's a process, and if you don't know how to do the data, it takes time to learn it. So at least you have somebody in house that know a little something. So.
Yes, she does. Yeah.
And Mr. Finer, as our community looks at itself and as other people look at us as a place to grow and move to, our school systems is the hub. Our school systems, we have to be solid there. As someone who's worked in the school system my whole career, we have a glaring need there with very little help to offer. And I know you've got challenges. I challenge you to let's keep our ears open and our head on a swivel, to let's do everything we've got to do to get any help that we can get for the mental help, for the chemical help, or whatever has to happen. We've got the school board chairman in the audience tonight, and I'm sure he would echo those sentiments. That we would do everything we can to help that process come along.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, sir. And we're doing a reinvestment grant with Hanley, which I'm a part of, which is going to give us a licensed clinic. It's about a $300,000 grant, and we phase now. And then next year, hopefully, if everything goes well, they're going to get about $300,000 that's going to go towards having a licensed clinical social worker who's going to be able to work as a sort of a hub for the juveniles too, and for the youth deputies and everything else who are all part of those meetings, and we're actively a part of those as well.
I think it's one more phase they have to go, just one more phase.
One more phase,
One
yeah,
more-
because
just
of
one more
course,
phase.
Commissioner Bird,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just one more phase to
And
go.
that should be very helpful.
Yeah.
And if I can get Central Florida to give us another case manager as well, because case managers don't necessarily, they're paying for case managers to see Medicaid and stuff and to help with that, and that's a very good thing, and we appreciate DCF and Central Florida doing that. We could use another one, though, that's for sure.
Sure. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else wish to speak? Seeing none. Business by districts, Ms. Byrd?
Well, just want to say Happy New Year's. Looking for a great year. All is well.
Mr. Harris?
Nothing.
Nothing.
That's,
I'm making up for Mr. Turner.
man.
Commissioner Swindle?
I would like to add that Commissioner Turner is in Tallahassee tonight at the governor's mansion. I think is what he told me, and the governor's doing his annual State of the State address, and they invited him on behalf of FAC and our county to be there, and so we're very honored that he's able to be there on behalf of Henry County and FAC and represent us. So he wanted me to make sure everybody knew that he wasn't off slouching.
I thought he was fishing.
Yeah. Other than that, no, sir. Thank you.
Anyone else? Same thing. You just need to keep moving forward in this new year. Thank everyone for all they do, the workers and everyone that do what they do to keep the county running, and have a blessed new year. Adjourn.